live. We'll do smiles.
Hold on, let me shut off my LinkedIn because then 50,000 texts will come through.
Oh yeah, me too. I have my.
We keep it, every time I do that, I forget that it's open and then it's like ding, ding. I'm like, ah.
Okay, we are live today on the Social Selling Maven Facebook page. And today I wanted to, not just today, so you can obviously see we have a friend here, Steve Rue. I'm going to introduce him in just a moment. But I looked at the environment that we're all thriving in today, and I wanted to bring some unique guests and people into the audience that could help deliver valuable information in a time where we don't just want to survive, we actually want to survive in the face of what we're experiencing as a community, as a nation, as a world. So my good friend, Steve Rue, by coincidence, in the face of all of this, has launched a wonderful book. And so he is here today. I'm going to introduce him. He's here today to talk a bit about not just his book, about not just his test and his company that he's using to help sales leaders and salespeople understand how they need to sell, right, Steve?
Yes,
And
yes, ma'am.
but he's also going to deliver some information about things that you can do today in the current environment to thrive and hit your goals and be a successful, be a llama corn. So Steve Rue, I'm gonna, with that introduction, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what your main focus has been, and just basically how you are. How are you holding up?
Yeah, you can hear me okay, hopefully. Of course, the headset as we speak just runs out of batteries. So as usual, right? This is what happens when you're on Zooms, right? For 5 hours since, 6 a.m.
Some people have been on it for 12 hours, I hear. So thank goodness that's not me.
But yeah, no, it's now's the time to act. I mean, now is the time to advertise. Now is the time to build your pipeline. Now is the time to market. Now is not the time to sit in a ball and cry.
Right, fetal position.
That is not.
No, right.
It's just, we see it so much, but everything that's happening now in our business as a sales trainer and speaker and all that kind of stuff and coach and whatever you want to call me, we're doing really well because we've now switched the focus to helping people fix this. It's not really about the exact sales skills right now, right? It's about the mindset that is holding most people back. And, Jim Rohn, who you and I know, I wish I would have been able to meet Mr. Rohn, but I've learned so much from him over the years. And he says, what happens to us all, right? It's not what happens to us. It's what we do about what happens that matters. And I'm glad that all my other competition is sitting at home. I'm excited to keep doing podcasts and lives and all these things to get the word out there because there's such an amazing opportunity in the face of adversity. And if you're in sales and you don't see it, that's what our job is to do, is to help you see it. Because whenever there's an opportunity, some people are going to grab it and some people are going to watch it go right by. And I'm certainly not going to do that. We're teaching our clients not to do that either. Yeah.
And, it's interesting. I think, as everybody knows, I was recently furloughed, and it's interesting how some faces or some large company heads, like, there's zero communication going out to people. There's no servant leadership. There's no leadership at all. It's actually like a free for all. Like, here's a list of your unemployment. Like, it'd be really interesting, maybe when we talk on LinkedIn a little bit, to find out those salespeople who have leaders that are actually rising to the occasion right now and providing the support and the community. So let's talk about that a little bit. What can people do? What can sales leaders do right now to best support their team?
What's funny, I'll answer it in two ways. Warren Buffett's quote, I'm sure I'm going to screw this up, right? When the tide goes out, we can see who was skinny dipping.
Uh,
So many companies right now, they never had servant leadership. They never had communication. They never had solid training. They never had great sales meetings. They never had their people's backs. Because when things are great and the economy's thriving, it masks all the stuff, right, that we never thought about. And so all these unnecessary meetings, right? So, Kathryn, tell me about your pipeline. What,
yeah,
aren't you on quota? Oh, that's your motivation. I
right.
mean, what, like, so now what's happening is companies are finding out that all the stuff they were doing has really exacerbated their situations, right? And now we have to figure out, okay, man, this person was actually really good. And now we've completely lost communication. We have all these salespeople that are sitting at home that don't have a process. They don't have people that have their backs. So now they're left alone. And they were left alone when they were in people's offices. Now they're really alone, and very many of them are struggling. And so one of the things that I think would be really important is to actually reach out to your people. I mean, by phone, you guys know you can talk to humans on this, right? You can actually physically talk to people. Reach out, see how they're doing. Don't reach out and say, hey, do we have any proposals in the pipeline, Tom?
Yeah.
That's your reach out. I've seen that with our clients and people who sales managers, they haven't talked to them in 4 months, right? And their only conversation was, what's your pipeline look like, Steve?
Yeah. How many calls did you make?
Right. How many calls did you make? And
Now,
now,
do you think, Steve, that
sure.
could tend to be a gender difference as well? Because or a people difference? Because even though my team is furloughed as well, I authentically care about them. I authentically care about their families, and I'm reaching out to them. I'm calling them, I'm tagging them. We're not getting paid. I'm not getting paid to support them, but I care
Right.
about them as people and how they're going to come out on the other side. And I just want to continue to support them. So do you think that's me? Do you think
I
that's
think
a
it's
female
you.
trait?
No, I'm guessing it would be more female than male, right? But I don't have the proof. I know that there are female leaders who are definitely not doing that.
Okay.
And I know there are male leaders that are doing it, but the collective, group of you guys that are actually caring and doing it, it's got to be less than 10%. I
It's
mean, it
interesting to
has.
see. Yeah, it's interesting to see. I've done a couple of surveys, reaching out just to my network, like, what can I do to support you? And I've really had some deaf ears or some crickets. And I'm thinking, do they think I'm trying to sell them?
So let's talk of this
Yeah.
actually really a tangent, but one of the podcasts I did this morning, we were talking about that. And we're talking about bringing value. And this is,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys get anything out of today, right, this is the one thing I want to teach you guys. When people let's start with follow up. So when most salespeople send a follow up email, and most of them don't, by the way, they suck at it. But even if they do this lazy, awful, valueless follow up. Hey, just checking in, Kathryn. Hey, how you do? Right, nothing is there.
Yeah.
And what I see a lot of the 99%, old school trainers teaching right now is reach out to all your clients and tell them you're there for them, right? And it's like, no, that's awful. People can see through that. When you're just sending some email that says, hey, Kathryn, I'm there for you. I know I sold you an insurance policy last year, and if you need to use it, I'm here for you. That is not value. So when you reach out to somebody, one, it has to be authentic, and two, it has to be sincere. Don't just reach out and say, I'm there for you if you need anything. That's not real.
So
If
let's
you,
give some examples,
yeah,
about
yeah,
the salespeople. Like,
yeah.
what would they say? Let's pick an industry, for example. What
So
would be
the one
an
today, it's
example?
only because this literally happened. I'll show you the text later, which is it's so exciting for me. But the gentleman I was on the phone with today is kind of a well-known guy in the employee benefits space.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about what could we do, right? What could our clients do to send out to their clients of value? And the idea we came up with was because, so we have this new HVAC client, plumbing guys, and we had met them because of the sales DNA test thing, and they loved everything we figured out. They were plumbing technicians, right? These guys are great at plumbing and HVAC, but they have no idea how to sell jobs. Zero. Just like a dentist, just like a lawyer, right? They've never been taught sales. So we were thinking about somebody that's not in plumbing or HVAC. Maybe it's an insurance guy, maybe it's a financial planner. How about sending something to your clients, i.e., could be plumbers, could be contractors, something that's going to help them sell better now? And so we thought of, right, we just recorded this little short little clip, right, on some sales tips and ideas and little strategies to get them getting more deals now, to help them communicate with their clients more now. Because listen, they're plumbers, they're great at fixing those things. I can't fix an air conditioner. I would not be the one to want to do it, but I know people that can. And so it was such a good idea where me and Eric, right, we're going to send out something of value to people, right, that could teach them something. And that value to someone, it's, you know, hey, my friend, you know, Kathryn is doing this webinar on how to manage your time more properly. And I know you've got 3 kids and I know you're at home and dogs run. I think it'd be great if you want to join in, right? She's going to be doing it on Thursday at 4. That's value. It's not me reaching out saying, hey, if you need sales training, I'm here for you. That's not what we're doing. Does
And you know, yeah, also it's going to differentiate those salespeople that took the time to really get to know the person, right? I always say business relationships, somebody needs to profit, right? Or else you're just in there shooting the shit. But I always have been the salesperson that I know when my person's birthday is. I know how many children they have. I know like what's a pressing issue that they have at work. I know little teeny bits of gossip in the office. I know where they went to school. I know all about them, right? And you keep that information in a client folder. So those all you can reposition somebody else's content, what you just said, right? And
doesn't
it's
have
not
to be yours.
No. And this is where client segmentation is so important as well. If you're tagging your client base, if you're understanding issues or problems or things that they were overcoming, now you can, this is where the depth of your knowledge of the people that you're working with really comes into play. And that kind of comes into my whole social selling, right? Is you really, it takes time to build those relationships and to research them and to do little things. And, you know, if there's 250,000 people saying, how can I help you? They're only going to hear and see the people that they already have a rapport with.
I sent out a couple recipes this morning, right? People, they comment on my Facebook. I made up this recipe of like mashed sweet potatoes and Yukon with cheddar, rosemary, garlic, and mushrooms. And, you know, people, oh my God, what is that? So today I just sent out some email, right? Like, hey, you guys want the recipe? And I don't want to give it to you, but here you go. That's the follow. That's the connection. It's not, hey, I saw your sales are down, Tom. Want to go through my course, right? You can't do that stuff.
Right. And it also goes back to getting your target market where they are today. Right. And not people might not be buying today, but they'll remember, they'll remember the kind of support that you were providing in the past. All right. So let's move over just a little bit to talk about your book, your exciting new book. So tell us a little bit about it.
So, you know, always wanted to write a book and have read so many amazing books and just felt like, man, if someone would ever read my book, how cool, you know, would that be? And how many other lives can we impact? And so it took me a while to figure out the title, but we settled on Sales is Not a Dirty Word. We have such a perception of us as sales professionals, right? That we're evil, we're greedy, we're shysters, right? And believe me, a lot of the people in the sales training industry are, and right now you're seeing who they are, and their little, house of cards is crumbling. And so I wanted to, again, share that people can sell, right? Being honest, having integrity, acting with humility. You don't have to be that a-hole that goes, look at my Bentley, look at my plane. Well, we're going to be looking at them getting repossessed, right? So it just don't have to be like that. So that's why I really worked a long time. And you and John know, again, when I was in Costa Rica, that's why I literally wrote the book, right? That whole year I was there last year. So we got awesome reviews. It's kind of weird to get reviews of people you don't even know, right?
Yeah, it's okay. So let me just comment on that real quick. I was on a Million Women's group or something, and they were saying, you finally start to make it when you see people that you don't know buying your shit. Like, or they're
who's
taking
that guy?
right. It's not just friends and family anymore, right? It's those little teeny wins that you start to celebrate, right?
Oh yeah, you never want to have fake review, but there's a lot of people that do, right? Many of these gurus, right, on their website, and they're all fake reviews. It's from their mom, their sister, right? Their buddy. Say this and sign it, or they dictate it. But I've taken a lot of pride. I've never done that. So all the stuff that is on there, those are all genuine. The LinkedIn ones are genuine. There were two that came in last week. That was like, oh my God, this is so nice, right? These were just emails. And then I had asked them, hey, would you mind doing a testimonial for me on LinkedIn, which you should all be doing, by the way, and building those up. But they have to be genuine, right? They sent that to me. And then I said, oh my God, that's so sweet. Thank you. So it's weird to see and get these messages and people texting you with your book with highlighted, right? Oh my God, this changed the way I think about sales, or oh my God, I showed my daughter,
Doesn't it hit you right here?
Yeah,
I say, one of my personal statements is it's my goal to inspire the people around me to be the best version of themselves. That's my goal. And when I get a message back from somebody and they lose me after they say you inspired, and I'm like, I almost want to cry because I'm like I'm doing what I want to do. And I don't even need any more. I can just drop the mic or whatever for the rest of the day. I did my mission. So tell us what's in the book about what somebody will learn and what's their takeaway from reading.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is you can kind of see my journey, right? From, second grade through high school, I didn't say a word. I mean, nothing, right? No dances, no dates, no prom, deathly afraid to talk to girls, right? To holy crap, this guy's number one in Cutco and this guy's number one in Aflac. How the hell did that happen? And, give people some inspiration that just because they didn't start off well, or they're not outgoing or have this charismatic personality, that they can't be good in sales, right? That's a hugely important factor I think a lot of people take from the book. Another thing, and one of my favorite leaders, right? What I learned about commitment from Abe Lincoln. That's actually the first chapter. Mm-hmm. And many people know some of the stories, but his first two businesses failed, right? He lost the love of his life. He failed in 8 elections, 8, before he won the presidency. He didn't become president until he was 51. This is not like some young guy that just hit it big. And so it's all about perseverance and stick-to-itiveness. And yes, things are going to happen. Yes, you're going to get knocked down, but are you going to get back up, right? Somebody might knock your tooth out. Somebody might cut you over the eye, but you don't just crawl out of the ring, okay? I mean, if Tyson was there, you probably would. But you still get up and fight. And that's what I want people to take out of the book. And probably the third thing is that there are certain disciplines, certain habits that need to be followed in sales.
Absolutely. Preach that.
It's not about this system. Again, we keep going back to these other idiots that are out there pitching their courses and the 10X university and learn to sell like me when I robbed $100 million from people and went to federal prison. These systems will put you in jail too, or in bankruptcy, or on American greed. You pick. So you can follow those systems all you want. I don't take relationship advice from OJ. I don't take financial advice from Bernie Madoff. Why would I take sales advice from a federal prisoner? You have to follow the people that emulate your morals, your ethics, and your disciplines. It's really important. It's not about the script or, oh, all you have to do is it's your tone of voice. No, like there are certain things that great salespeople do. And part of writing the book and how I built my course was I did a modern day Napoleon Hill. I spoke to tons of 6 and 7 figure salespeople all in the last 2 years to find out what the heck they were doing. What are their best practices? What are their mindsets? What are their strategies? How do they follow up? And I pooled all that data, and that's what I teach.
Why don't you give us a couple of high level things like, mindset, winner mindset, or some prospecting things. What I do talk to some people because I've had some really great wins, quickly coming out of employment to entrepreneurship with companies and deals. And I said, it didn't happen just today. Like where you are today is just a result of what you were doing 90 days ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's that constant pipeline.
That's what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
See, all the people that are screwing around right now. I thought of this analogy actually this morning on a podcast out of the blue. And I'm like, what does this remind me of? And what it reminds me of is a relay race. So if you guys have ever watched a relay race in the Olympics, okay, it's 4 men or 4 women running a relay. So when let's say the first gal comes around, right? She rounds the turn and she's going to get ready to hand off the baton to the next one that's waiting. Mm-hmm. The number 2 person is not just standing there. They're already running. So the first person catches up to the second person and then hands the baton while the second person is in motion. And what's happening is there are 85% of the salespeople right now are just standing there. And 15% have already started in motion. They're already waiting for the baton to get handed to them. And that's why you have to be building your pipeline right now. That's why you have to be reaching out to your clients. That's why you have to be providing value. Because when this thing is over in a couple months, you need to be in momentum already. If you're not, you're going to have to start over 3 months from now. Then it's going to be another 90 days until you even hit your stride. So you're going to be 6 months behind people.
Yep.
And some of the cool stuff I learned to answer your question in terms of prospecting, for example, what the top 10% do, and in mostly a top 10, top 5% are the people I interviewed. And so these are all people making 150,000 plus. One of the things they do when it comes to prospecting and follow-up is they don't just stop after one call. And you might not be alarmed by this, but these are the facts, y'all. 48% of salespeople don't even follow up a second time. 48%. And 73% of salespeople follow up 2 times and stop. So 27% of people will follow up 3 or more times. And we all know 5 to 12 times is where 80% of the sales are made. And what I found is that most of the top 5%ers are following up 10 or 15 times.
And when they're following up with that, we're in this multi-channel world. Yep. Are they doing LinkedIn follow-ups, email follow-ups, text, email, check out our company's ebook? Like what are some follow-up tips?
One of the cool things I learned this woman was doing in the Midwest somewhere, and it was 3 by 3 by 3, she called it. And so it's the first 3 follow-ups, right? Email, text, phone call, for example. Then the next 3, email, text, phone call. Then the next 3, email, text, phone call. And she had it spread out, over 22 days, whatever it was, in her cadence. And by that point, she's always getting through to somebody. And if she's not, then they go into the, follow up in 30 days, right? So she had all her cadences set up, which is great.
So she had a system, right? Yeah. She didn't just wake up out of bed and go, what am I going to do?
It's all, and in relation to that, and one of the things I learned using the sales DNA test, and this thing is unbelievable. We've tested and evaluated almost 2 million salespeople. And the company that uses these, we did a study to find out what were the 2 competencies that were most common among the top 5% of salespeople. And these 2 competencies equated to them earning 41% more income than everyone else.
Wow.
41%. And they were goal setting and living in your CRM. Those 2 competencies. And you might not think that those are sales related. They're really not sales related, right? That's not presenting. That's not my phone script. That's, you know what I mean? They're not necessarily.
But in today's world of data, right?
Yeah, it's incredible at how few people actually write down their goals, have meaningless goals. But it's even fewer of people who actually look at them and measure the progress of those goals. It's akin to somebody saying, I'm going to lose 30 pounds. And then at the end of the summer, your personal trainer goes, okay, let's get on the scale. And you go, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, what do you mean? No, I lost it. I did. She goes, how do you know you lost it? No, I did. But we have to measure to see. No, I'm good. This is why so many people fail, right? Because they don't look to see where they are on the way to hitting the goals, or if they even hit them.
What percentage of salespeople would you say actually know their close rate?
Oh, 5%.
It's an interesting topic. I presented that before to my upper management, and I asked my sales team recently that question, and I could tell they were like they didn't really know.
They don't know that. They don't know the sales cycle. They don't know lifetime value of a client. They don't how. Think about it in sports. If they didn't have stats, right? Every baseball player would say they hit 350.
So let's talk. How does somebody calculate a close rate?
CRM. But in reality, you got to track certain things. And so many of us, especially growing up like in the Aflac world, when I started, we barely had internet, right? Like I'm old, right? But what we did have was a phone. I was always a phone guy. I was always
wait. I'm back from the days in my first sales job where I had this system, this phone thing. Yeah. And I literally had a telephone that I'd have to strap onto the machine that had paper like the fax. And it would have a phone signal, and it would print out this on this, what do you call the paper that changes color when the sunlight hits it?
I don't even know.
Okay, so wait, I'm really aging myself. So
but I had something not quite like that, but at least I could print out, like 100 plumbers or whatever, right? And so I would just dial, and I created this little, I just called it a daily summary. So on the paper, I had like the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 125, because I'd make 125 calls a day. And
is that average, by the way? Are you talking above average, or like what's really a number that people, if they're
the average salesperson, if they just do what they're supposed to do, should make about 16 calls in an hour.
Okay.
So if you're prospecting for 6 hours, that's 96, right?
Okay.
But there's stockbrokers, you and I probably know, right? They're making 300, 400, 500 dials a day. So for me, 125 was not that bad. But I would track the number of dials, which would be a slash, the number of contacts, people I spoke to, which would be a circle, and then number of appointments I set, I would fill in the circle. Okay. Because we can't control results. And I see this like still today, it's 2020. And we have sales managers going, how many appointments did you make, Tom? That's asinine. You can control activity. You cannot control results. All I care about is that I dialed the phone 125 times. I cannot control who picks up the damn phone.
Right.
I can't control that. I can control, though, the number of appointments I set based on the number of people I spoke to. That speaks to my sales skills. The number of calls doesn't matter. So I would track, okay, I did 125 dials, I had 9 decision makers pick up, and I set 3 appointments. Okay, boom, 33%, that's killer. But if I said I set 3 appointments, is that good or bad? How the hell do I know? Because if I set 3 appointments in 4 calls, holy crap, that's good. If I set 3 appointments in 672 calls, that is not good. So we have to measure this stuff. How the hell are we ever going to improve, right?
Right.
Closing percentage, same thing. So many people screw this one up because they say, okay, I did 10 appointments and I got 2 deals, right? 20%, which, by the way, that's national average, roughly, take all sales into consideration, between 17 and 22%. That's the average closing percentage.
Yep.
But if I did 10 meetings and 5 of them were not with the decision maker, my closing percentage is 40. It's 2 for 5. I'm a much better closer than I think I am. I'm wasting time with people who aren't decision makers. So if you're using kind of faulty math and numbers, you're not only are screwing up your company's pipelines and projections, but you're not getting the true sense of your value, who you are, how well you're doing, how poorly you're doing, and you're getting tricked into thinking you're doing better than you are or worse than you are. So these numbers, these metrics are critical for salespeople. And if they don't measure them, how can they get better?
So that's a take home for everybody, right? To really understand your numbers and to understand what the top people are doing. Like, ask them, reach out, teamwork, find a mentor within their sales organization that's going to help you along the way, because the top people I have found are the people that will spend the time mentoring everybody else and show best practices, right?
Yeah,
they're not just going to hide. They're going to share resources with people because they want to share. That's just what I found is the top sales women that I know want to mentor and help bring everybody up with them.
There's a coach, I just read this story and I forget his name. He's a high school coach, I think maybe on the East Coast, has like 1,000 wins or some crazy Hall of Fame number. And somebody asked him once, they go, man, I'd really love to see your playbook. I'd love to know what plays you run. He goes, here you go. He gives his plays to everybody. You know why? Because he knows most people aren't going to do a damn thing with them. Yeah. This is like MIT that puts their classes online, or Nike who puts their training online. Guys, give everything you have away. People aren't going to do anything with it anyway. But the real people that really want the help, they will, and they'll remember you for it. So be willing to share, give ideas, give your secret. What most people aren't going to do anything with it. And the ones that do respect you, and then they come back to you and say, thank you so much.
And they'll be ambassadors for you as well, right? Oh. It's goodwill. It's karma, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's move over. Everybody, we'll put your book in the comments section below. And then now let's talk about the DNA test a little bit, about your transition. So everybody's heard that you were a Cutco knife person, and I've met some great salespeople that came out of that organization.
Got 'em right there.
I'm like wondering in the background if that's what they were. And then I know Steve from working around Aflac. He was a stellar salesperson, top performer at Aflac. Tell us a little bit about the DNA test, what it is, how people would use it, how my listeners would benefit from taking that test, and then what they would do with the results to implement it to ultimately make more money, right? That's why they're in sales.
Yeah, I mean, it literally changed my whole life. I built a training course for Aflac agents. You guys know I travel the country, and I was doing a keynote for Aflac in New England, and the guy that runs Aflac was like, hey man, your content is freaking awesome, but you need to see this tool my buddy uses, right? I'm like, okay, Mike, sure. Because I thought he was going to pitch me on the next personality profile, and we've all seen these things, and it's like, oh, she's a D, she'll be great at sales, or he's a purple, or she's a rabbit. It's like, what are we doing? So I thought he was going to pitch me on that. And he didn't. And he told me about this DNA test. And I'm like, let me take this thing. I want to vet it. Let me see.
Yeah.
Because it's really the only one literally in existence that measures the salesperson inside the person. This is not about personality. It's not about behavior. It is, can this person sell cell phones in Poughkeepsie, New York? And if I'm a business owner and I'm paying this woman 140 grand, she better know how to sell cell phones in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Right.
I don't care if she sold copiers. I don't care if she was a financial advisor. Can she sell this? And that's what the DNA test does. So I took it, and I did pretty good in sales, right? Very successful in Aflac, very successful in Cutco. And when I took it, I wanted to jump off a building because I was like, I'm just not that good. Like, this is not good. And it showed me every blind spot that I've ever had, and every self-limiting belief, and every competency that I wasn't great at. And it showed me a roadmap. Steve, this is what you need to fix. And it was weird because it measures 21 different competencies inside of us, and many of which you've never even heard of. Like we talked about the need to be liked a little bit. Most salespeople have this undying need to be liked by their prospects.
Absolutely.
Because we've been taught, well, people buy from people they like. Well, that's not true. Because if your worst enemy came to you tomorrow and said, hey, Kathryn,
I've got toilet paper.
Yeah, I got extra toilet paper. Or, hey, I got to buy toilet paper. I need to get rid of my Ferrari. Do you have $1,200? You'd buy the Ferrari. It's irrelevant if you like the person. Do they provide value? And so we measure this as a competency. Another kind of interesting one that we measure is people being comfortable discussing money. And believe it or not, that competency will kill salespeople.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Their value of money, the way they view money, that's a factor. The way they can discuss somebody else's money is another factor. And if somebody thinks like 10 grand is a lot of money, for example, which it is to a lot of people, and they're selling a device or something that's 50 grand, when the client says, geez, Kathryn, 50 grand, that's a lot of money. And
they'll agree, right?
Yes, physiologically, they're like, man, you're right. That is a lot of money. And you don't say the right things. You don't go into the right method you should. And you go into follow-up mode because you think it's a lot of money. And there's so many people who sales that way. But every other guru on the planet is teaching closing. Well, guess what, guys? You can't close if we don't fix these things first that are inside your head and make up your sales DNA. And, all the other stuff that we measure, somebody's ability to sell consultatively, somebody's ability to reach decision makers, somebody's ability to negotiate. We can even measure someone's commitment level, if they're coachable, what their excuse making level is. I mean, we give people an exact blueprint of everything they've ever wanted to know or not know about why they're not as successful as they could be in sales.
And then does the company go one step farther to give training on those, we'll air quote them as deficiencies,
right,
or learning opportunities?
Right. Yeah, that's the part, that's kind of the second half. So
okay.
What I saw out there in the training world is everybody has a remedy, right? Everybody is the doctor that gives every single patient 2 Tylenol. But the same patient comes in, right, with a broken leg. Oh, I got your 2 Tylenol. But no, I think I need the surgery. No, somebody comes in that might have cancer. Oh, I got 2 Tylenol. Somebody comes in with an earache. I got 2 Tylenol. And that's what's happening in the training world, is this one size fits all regurgitated BS training from the 90s, when we have no idea what's inside that person and what they really need to work on. So all the back end of our training that I built over the last year is specific to the results of the DNA test. So people literally inside a company or individually, they get customized training based on what they need to work on. You can't just go in and go, prospecting time, everybody, because Andrea kills it at prospecting, but she's uncomfortable discussing money. So it doesn't matter how much prospecting we teach her, right?
Yeah.
Or
We,
Tom, right?
yeah.
Tom has a need to be liked, but he's great at getting to decision makers. But when he gets to them, he loses the deal. So we got to teach Tom and Andrea different things, right?
Absolutely. I talk about that too with my women in sales organization, right? Women sell differently than men. Women know already how to
Yeah,
build
100%.
relationships. Don't teach me how to build rapport. Like I can get a life story out of somebody on an airplane ride, right?
Yeah.
That's not my weakness. But identifying maybe I do have a little bit of a money issue or the hard close because I'm a soft closer, but maybe sometimes you need to step up that hard close. Maybe that the quiz is also good for building teams, right? If there's a team sell, if people
Oh,
start
yeah.
working together on
We
until
measure
they
that,
can
right?
improve it.
Can you work alone? Or are you better in a group? We can
Yeah,
show all that.
that's great.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty awesome.
we'll put the link to that quiz as
Yeah, that'd be
well
great. Yeah,
about how people could get in touch with you for that.
yeah.
And then if they want to visit, what are the different ways that people can work with you specifically? If anybody on here decides that they want to work with you either as a mentor or take your course or take the test or have you as a keynote speaker when we can keynote speak
When we
again.
actually get to do that and don't get them all canceled.
Yeah, what are some of the things that you are offering to build value to your audience, and how do you do that?
The big thing now, and everything's on victoryselling.com.
Okay.
We would love, again, when I coach people, and you probably know this, and you see this in our industry, right? There's a lot of, coaches right now out there. How can you coach somebody if you don't know what's inside? And that's what the DNA test does. So we don't even let people into the six-figure sales accelerator course unless they've done the DNA test first. It's not worth it for us. Like we're not in business to sell logins, right? That's the 10X guy. Okay. That's not what we do. We want to help people completely transform, right, their sales career. Well, how do we do that? Well, we show them what they need to work on first, then they know what to start training and learning on. So that's why I think sales DNA tests are so critical. Another good thing I think that came from just me wanting to help. I don't think you guys even know about it, but we did these virtual sales meetings in March, and I just came up with an idea because all these salespeople, as you know, are all discombobulated, right? They're all dispersed around the country.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have leaders. They don't even have meetings. So I'm like, I'm just going to host a sales meeting, right? For anybody that's in sales. And we just did it. We got amazing response. So then that turned into, you know what? I'm going to do these every single week. So now we just launched it last week called Six Figure Sales Accelerator Live, but it's a weekly coaching, training, support, guidance, all those kind of calls where everybody can jump in Wednesdays at 4:00 and get the help, get the knowledge. We have amazing men and women across the country that are sharing what are they doing that's working now, right? What are some tips that they want to offer? So it's a collaboration call. It's not a lecture.
Okay.
So
and is it like a Zoom call where the people
Zoom.
come on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So I just was working on it last night and we're actually teaching some tips on Zoom this Wednesday because people don't know what they're doing. So,
I know. So they can they can read your book.
Yep.
They can take the DNA test, and then the progression would be they could go into your six-figure sales group.
Yep. Or they can go into the weekly call, right?
Or the weekly call.
Have this group of support in all different aspects and levels because maybe someone's not quite wanting to do the course yet. Maybe they just want to get some tips, ideas, strategies, be part of a group, right? It's super inexpensive. I mean, it's just like we want to keep providing value and resources for people so they can progress and learn. I'm really tired of these stupid weekend event criminals that charge people $10,000 or $15,000 to sit in a room. And when they get home on Monday morning, nothing has changed. Right. Except they now owe 15 grand. You cannot learn how to sell in a weekend. Can you imagine if you saw an ad coming up that said, learn on Facebook, right? Learn to be a doctor this weekend only. It's $9.97, and you can do brain surgery on Monday, just like me. Look at my hospital in the background. You
In a
can't
way, it
do that.
cheapens the career. I mean, I've built
Yeah.
a really nice living for myself,
Yeah.
and I've been in
Not
sales
overnight.
since I was 24.
Yeah.
I've been B2B sales for 29 years. That's a long time. How many sales calls can you make? How many countries can you sell in? How many languages can you sell in? Like
It's like any other profession.
Yeah.
You put in so much time, money, effort. Like if I want to be a lawyer, okay, right now, and I'm 18 years old, okay, that's 7 years. 7 years of my life, $300,000, and then I'm a lawyer, right? No.
In theory.
What? You have to pass something, okay?
Yeah.
And half the people don't pass, but guess what? They still owe the 300 grand, right? So a lawyer right now, median salary for a lawyer, if you guys don't know this, is about 110,000. 110. And you had to spend 7 years of your life and 300 grand to make the 110. But so many people in sales, they want to make 110 and they don't even know how to send an email. But they got convinced to go to some weekend event, break some boards in half, dance around on some chairs and walk through some fire, and that they think they're going to be rich on Monday. It just doesn't work like that. The profession of sales is like any other profession. You spend time, you spend money, you spend effort, you learn, you grow, you screw up, you ask mentors, you get better, just like any other profession. You don't pick up a guitar and play Stairway to Heaven the first time you pick up a guitar. Sorry.
And the other thing for salespeople to remember is that your company may not be the source of that sales training.
No.
Don't look.
No way.
For the 10 years I've been in this company, I just was working with, they'd never, did they? Maybe because I was in charge, I brought some sales training in, but they as a company didn't ever give me any sales training. And so I've always looked externally. What podcast can I read? What book? I mean, I have all my little Jeff Gittimer read books. Every airport was what can I read? What podcast can I read? What spending weekends, spending time reading your book recently. Like who's killing it? What are they doing? Asking questions, like always learning, always trying to be a better person, a better salesperson that's going to serve me and my family and whoever's lucky enough to employ me at the time, right? Or consult. It's always striving to be a better person, a better salesperson, and not sitting on your laurels because the business is just not going to come your way.
Or sitting on your something else. And
yeah.
We just put a blog post up. I'm sure I'll get in trouble for like everything else on LinkedIn, but it is maddening to me to hear people complain and bitch and moan, okay, about their situation. And all they do all day is do friggin' Facebook quizzes. It's just like, what Disney princess are you? Like, what? That's what you're doing? Like, let's add up a friggin' cat, a wheel, and a horse. Oh, that's 197. Like, what? What is going on? These are the people that are bitching and moaning they don't have jobs, right? You know why, guys, people don't have jobs? And I'm not discounting like the people that have unfortunately lost their business. They lost their restaurant, their livelihood. I'm talking about salespeople. I don't know a lot of companies who have fired their top salesperson. You know why? Because they have immense value to people. And if you're not increasing your value right now, so when this comes done and you have immense value and people want to scoop you up like a free agent, what the hell are you doing? I saw this article on a website, I won't mention, a very famous website, and it said, how to spend your next 1,000 hours in social distancing on TV. I swear to God, 1,000 hours. And people are binging the crap out of Netflix right now. You see their stocks going up. Before this whole thing happened, the average American watched 34 hours a week of TV. Okay.
I can't even
34.
find 34 hours in my week.
That's a full-time job. They are wasting watching TV. Now it's more, it's like 30% more than that. And people still say I don't have time. Like, what? So you can't be pissed off about the results you're not getting from the effort you didn't put in.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't work like that. Every single one of us has 24 hours. I can promise you right now, Oprah, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Cuban, you name them all, right? They're not doing Facebook quizzes. They're reading, they're listening to podcasts. They're, how do I improve my skills? How do I become a master? I will bet you right now that LeBron James is not sitting on his ass playing Xbox. He's in the gym, he's lifting weights, he's shooting baskets, or he's working with those kids. He's doing something to be better on the other side. That's why he's LeBron. That's why Serena Williams is Serena Williams. That's why Oprah is Oprah. They just do things with their time that most people aren't willing to do.
Yep. Yep. So I think we're going to wrap it up, and I'll get back to the questions that might have popped up on the Facebook Live. I'll stick all the information in the comment section about how people can reach you. And please, you guys, if there's any other sales tips, put them in. If I can't answer it, I've got people at my fingertips like Steve that have been very successful in sales. They can help you. We're here to support you. We're here to help you get beyond just surviving, but into thriving, because that's what we want, right? At the end of the day, Steve, we're here to champion sales reps. We're here to champion their career as salespeople. And it's a great industry. It's just a great place to be. I'm happy that I chose it, and it's helped me be a single mom for all these years and travel the world.
Yes.
All right, you guys.
Thanks so much, Kathryn.
Anything else, Steve, you want to say before we end?
Good.
Okay.
Use your time wisely.
Yes.
Right? We've been given this gift of extra time. If you look at it like that, which you should, now what do we do with this gift of extra time? And it's up to you to actually do something and just stop thinking about doing something.
Right.
So that one last thought you can have in your head, my friend sent me this picture, and we've all seen the thinker, right? We've seen that.
Yep.
So the picture that she sent was the doer, and it was just an empty base of a statue.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right? So be a doer, not a thinker.
Yep. All right, you guys.
Everybody.
Take care. Kathryn Evans, the social selling maven. Thank you so much for your time and energy. We'll talk on Wednesday, where we have a conversation with one of my good friends, Andrew Walton, who will talk to you a little bit about email marketing, just like we're talking to Steve about not being salesy and spammy. Like, what can you do to warm up your audience and provide value through email? So that's what we're talking about on Wednesday. So thanks so much, you guys.
See you guys.